you're counting with your thumb up.
I think that's what's throwing us off.
That's you're
So
counting with your thumb up. So is the thumb a number, or are we counting this way? Are we counting this way? How are we counting? Because that was throwing me off. Because you were like this, going one,
my
but
bad.
actually
It
it's
was it
two.
was you know it was my fault. I'm gonna
Okay.
take blame this time. Every other time it's been you guys. This time it was my fault. All right, welcome to Echo Chamber, the session in which we talk about the previous week's session. This session, we found a horde. Like, we found a little honeypot, I like to call it. Not quite a dragon's lair, but just a little gold to be distributed. In fact, to the
Yeah.
point where Warwick was like, hey, Reed, you want to skim off the top a little bit? Didn't quite work out how Warwick had wanted, but maybe he pocketed some without Reed seeing. I don't know.
You never know what happens. You never know. I'm not.
Uh,
I'm not saying it.
we also got to see Adrin, release his frustration that he's been feeling for weeks now after the dreams, and into a charred Oni body. That thing, there was nothing left but ash, and then after that release, I feel like we have to mention he comes back with some wraps around his hands. So we'll start there. Adrin, you coming back, what was the thought process in you deciding to go monk? Where do you think the rest of the party foresees this going? Like, what's going through everybody's minds in your opinion?
I think it's being that he attacks so much with the staff. I think it's kind of just and the fact that both classes, rely heavily on wisdom. Um, I think it's just kind of a good fit. I think that will add a little bit to. I'm hoping maybe to add a little frontline presence so that relieve Griswold and Amrook a little bit. So, I mean, not fully take blunts of everything, but trying to get out a little bit.
I cannot wait to see
So
Adrin standing there with his staff posed for patient defense. I cannot wait to see it, and you just standing frontline dodging everything that Garrett has to throw
yeah,
at you.
right.
I like
And
it.
and what do you think like the others thought as you came back?
I'm not sure. I'm kind of curious on how what the other characters are thinking. Like this is cool, or what the fuck's going on, or I don't know. I don't know what everybody's thinking. I think it's I think it's in the next couple of sessions. It's going to be interesting to see the interactions of everybody and the developments that's been going on, not just with Adrian, but with a couple of the other characters.
I agree with you. I can't wait till next fight when people start
Mm.
using their new level or their multi-level things and like we're like, what's that? Like that excitement, I cannot wait for that. I
Yeah,
think that as you pull out some monk shit, some dope monk shit, I think
dope
Sybil's gonna
monk
be a
shit.
little jealous. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah. No,
Rusty's
maybe.
gonna be jealous. He's
Yeah,
gonna want
maybe.
his monk there. I don't think the monk multi-class with the wizard goes very well though.
No, that would be a little awkward. A little awkward.
What about you, Warwick? What were you thinking as you found out about the monk? Like, do you know what Warwick's thinking at this point, or I feel like Warwick's one of those that he's gonna sit back and just watch how things happen. Like, he doesn't have a thought on it as of right now. He's just waiting.
Yeah, I'm more so just trying to figure out the group, right? I mean, I've been with the group for a while now, so kind of seeing how everybody plays out and how their character arcs unfold. You know, I, yeah, I like it. I mean, I think if Warwick had to put a word to it, I mean, I think he's excited about it, but not jumping for joy or anything like that. I'm interested to see what this does to Adrian as a person. Is it going to make you more vengeful and more upfront, and you're just going to take more fights, or are you still going to use this and use your wisdom and pick the right fight? So I'm interested to
Yeah,
see
I
how
think
that plays out.
yeah.
But and then you have other people like Griswold who are very vengeful. So I'm interested to see how. Yeah, that's the
I
character, right? It's
I
just
sensed a
understand.
little bit of tone there, like you're a little disappointed that the suggestion was interrupted. I could be wrong, but I sensed it a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I was. It was successful. I thought I had saved the day, or at least put us in a better position. But I think this brought out a little more of how I need to actually maneuver the character, right? Because in this case, I was like, I'm just going to get this guy away. It's going to save the group. We're all good. And then that kind of backfired, right? We weren't all on the same page. And I think that's, Warwick is going to realize that I still need to hold true to what I came into the group as a loner, right? I was always by myself doing my own thing. So I almost need to think of myself first in a case. So I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, you know, you're not the only one that this has happened to with Griswold. So don't feel too alone on that.
Well, yeah, no, it's not going to make any drastic changes, and I think when I first started with you guys, yeah, we're messing with Griswold about him tripping and falling on someone and all this kind of stuff. So I'm kind of picking up that he's a very take action first and think about what's going to happen later.
That's a really good way to put it. Go eat a tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and so
Yeah,
but hey, we need that in the group. That has to be part of the group, right? We can't all be logical. That would make it boring, right? He
yeah.
makes it fun. Is it frustrating? Absolutely. But it makes it
You
fun.
know,
It keeps us on our toes, right?
It makes
yeah,
it fun
yeah,
for
right.
Garrett anyway.
Yeah, exactly,
That's
exactly.
a fair point. Yeah. I mean, think
Yeah,
about it though. If I cast suggestion every time and 8 times out of 10 it works, except for on, creatures with legendary feats, that might make the fights a little boring, right? Oh, just fly away. Like,
Well,
okay, it
I think
worked.
yeah,
there's something to be said there about not, grinding it out until one side's at zero hit points. There's something to be
yeah,
said for having that goal, and whether that's negotiation. I think back to Grudhog. The goal, the whole goal was to get to Guh, right, Chief Guh,
right,
and then
right.
so the hypnotic pattern, the suggestion led us to that. We didn't have to grind out to 0 HP of
Yeah.
all these hill giants. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes it has its place in strategic thinking. But what were you going to say there, Eric?
Uh,
You started to say something after Warwick was talking about Grizz interruption of suggestion.
I don't remember, so I'm gonna say must have been a lie.
All right. Then, Garrett, if you're there, go ahead and join in. I'd like to hear your from the DM side as Griswold is misty stepping to ruin Warwick's plan.
Do you want the real answer, or do you want the the laid back DM approach,
I want
the
both.
strategic analysis here? All
I
right,
want
the
both.
real answer is I was giddy. I was like a little schoolboy. I was so giddy and so excited that continued because you should have seen the look of disappointment on my face whenever that suggestion succeeded and you eliminated one of my Onis, and I knew the
Yeah, right.
battle wasn't going to be as drawn out as I'd hoped it would be. I looked so sad, and then Griswold did it, and I was like a giddy little schoolboy. I was so happy. Strategically, I think he played his character well. It was an interesting decision. I'm glad that he did what he did. It went to the core of what Griswold has been recently. Um, yeah, so I found it to be a very interesting decision. And then, like you said, not the first time he's done it. Certainly not going to be the last.
Yep.
And I thought it was an interesting flip versus Grudhog whenever he was upset that you guys put in the kill when he wanted to negotiate. And now he was
Yeah,
the bloodthirsty one.
good. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. Yeah,
I mean, he took that thing so personally, and now you're seeing this Griswold change in
yeah.
a way.
It's a
That
real
is a
good point.
very good point. Yeah, I didn't really make that connection, but that is interesting because he got to the point where like he threw a fit and walked out towards like six
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he
giants.
was.
Like,
So I'm curious if this is all a reaction you know from all that, or yeah, that's interesting.
Or is it a growth of the character out of
Yeah.
recent events.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, for Amrook, it really kind of highlights that I think, sitting around the campfire, the group needs to have some sort of strategic discussion on attack and targeting. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
for Amrook military status, theoretically, you're facing 6 hill giants. You should focus what everybody can attack. You know what I mean? Whereas the way we fought, if you go back to Grud Hog, Siddle's casting Fireball over the heads of everybody to attack specific, which I mean
Right.
can be good and bad. But at the end of that, we're still facing 6 hill giants at half HP instead of 3 hill giants at full HP. And the thing
Right.
about these fights is if we have that focus and we can get rid of 3, then we're only facing 3. But if we don't and we have 6 hill giants that have HP, they're still doing maximum damage. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a big difference, and it's a big difference in turn order as well. So
Yeah.
for
I mean,
Amrook, there's a discussion to be had.
I mean, I think it depends too on what that back line is. Is that back line just a bunch of archers, or is it a wizard and a cleric or something like that? I mean, if it's a wizard or cleric or something, you want to take them out as fast as you can before you can take,
True.
because they could
It
do
would be
some
situational,
damage.
but I think that
Yeah.
that's also where like things like suggestion and charm and stuff
Yeah.
do come into play. I mean,
Yeah.
we have one person doing that in the background, and then everybody else attacking this front line, and then we work back to them.
Yeah.
But it is situational. I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
See,
But
Uh,
yeah.
Go ahead, Warwick.
No,
go ahead, Eric. Go ahead.
no. That's I was just saying. Go ahead.
No, I think it's going to be interesting, though, to see if everyone is going to agree with that. Like, out of character, like Tegan, that makes total sense, right? And I'm
Yeah.
sure Garrett's like, no, I don't want you guys to do that. Be completely, dysfunctional and just attack whoever. It gives him more opportunity, right? Warwick, I think it makes sense, right? But I don't know if I've played far enough into the character to figure out if I'm going to be okay, almost like quote unquote taking orders, right? Or taking that level of I don't even know if you want to call it command, but it almost might seem that way. So I don't know if
Mm.
I've played into the character that much to know if I would accept that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
So I don't know. Yeah, out of character.
Too many
Totally
chiefs,
agree.
not enough Indians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I want to lead the pack and tell everyone to be dysfunctional. I don't know.
I think I cannot, with you saying that, I cannot wait till the RP comes about in which Warwick realizes that he has considered himself a loner for most of his life, and now he's with a group who has his back. I mean, I think of dwarves, they are loyal to a fault, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
in Amrook's mind, Warwick's part of the group, and Amrook would have his back no matter what. And he doesn't see him as that loner, so it's kind of just a different side. And I can't wait till that happens. That Warwick's like, "Holy shit, these guys got my back."
Yeah. I
like
mean,
like
that plays into
Grizz
a
is
lot.
like for as Grizz with his faults, he did heal you for 30 points of healing in one
The second
in
time,
one
I
go.
will mention, it was the second time
The
he went
second.
down, not the first.
Second time, yeah. No, I mean, there's definitely a lot to be said about that, that you guys are helping out and kind of keeping me as part of the group. So I think it's just new territory for the character, right? He's never really experienced it. So I may be confrontational at first and maybe not take to it well, but then it might take a little more than just, healing in battle, right? Because at the end of the day, the opposite could be said, right? If
Yeah.
because of what my character can do, you would
Right.
want to heal me, right? So I
Yeah.
could say, well, you're just doing this to benefit yourself not dying, right?
Right.
So there's back and forth. I like it, but it might take, I don't know, some couple gold pieces, magical items, a house, whatever you guys can give me.
I mean, we
Oh,
we are we already gave you part of a house. I will say that.
oh, and you gave me part of a house? When did it? What?
We said we'd put you on the deed to
Oh,
to
True,
the
you
Yeah.
house
kind of brushed
Trezidar
over it. You had a
Manor.
lot going on at the time. I didn't think you
Yeah.
picked up on that.
Uh, Well, I
I mean,
mean,
I know you're still in search of other houses in other places everywhere we go, but you,
yes.
you are uh, you are part owner as far as Amrook's concerned.
So I don't know. Maybe it'll take like seeing my name on the deed and signing it. I don't know. I mean, I don't
That's
know.
an interesting take. Maybe we can get there. I like it. I like it. So not to abruptly change the topic, but I wanted to ask Garrett a question. So Keegan and I were just talking, and I had a suspicion, but I'm just gonna ask bluntly: did you throw the wolves in
Right.
there to get the party to spend spell slots and stuff before we got to the Onis?
Oh, absolutely.
And how
I was
mad
hoping to
were you
lure
when
more spell
Adrin
slots
deterred
on.
it?
I was okay. You guys used one up once. Oh, excuse me. One spell slot up in the time. Which is a level 1, but at least you used one up, and it made you be cautious.
Yeah,
Hold on one
yeah,
second now. Give me 1 minute.
No
All right.
worries. I think that's a good point because as we level, like Warwick just got arcane recovery and things like that. So I would like to see the party also take more short rests. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And to be able to take consecutive back-to-back battles with just a short rest rather than let's take the night, guys. We'll fight them in the morning.
yeah,
How
yeah.
how long is a short rest?
An
And
hour.
and
Okay.
Yeah, at minimum of an hour. I think you could probably take two, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You can take one. You can take 8 days if you want and still call it a short rest if you really want to.
Yeah. Well,
That's an interesting. All right, so while Garrett's away, then I'm gonna bring up the next point about those back-to-back battles. There's a term called going nova, and you don't want everybody to go nova at once, due to
Right.
those back-to-back battles. But how do you decide strategically who does, or is it just you see someone else, so you kind of hold some back and just in case other things? Like, what have you experienced in your parties, Eric?
No, I think you definitely want to try to feed off of the other characters. You know, um, yeah. I mean, you don't want to shoot your load too soon. I guess if you're everybody, it's like if you have if Warwick had a fireball, it'd be kind of, and there's only like two creatures on the battlefield, and Rusty sent out a fireball. It'd be kind of overkill if Warwick did the same thing, and then you know we traveled down a hallway, and the next thing it's like there's 30 goblins in the hallway, and nobody has any fireballs left. One of those
Right.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely have to. I think that's also kind of in that strategic, like we were just talking about, like fighting a fight front to back, but sometimes that um, wizard in your party needs to go full Nova to hit the back line, and then we can progress forward. So that is another strategy. I mean, it's not just all one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I mean,
Yeah.
another thing Carl, would like to do is that we would use our two words that we get per round or per turn to kind of focus that. You know what I mean? Where somebody calls out, attack the front line, or
Ooh, we're gonna have special maneuvers.
go for the wizard, something like that. I don't know if I would call that special maneuver, but we
Special
could we could th-
maneuvers.
we could think of something. Come up with some formations.
yeah, we have to. I feel like
Formation Q. What's Formation Q? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention in that class.
it would be funny to see that played out though too, right? I mean, calling out formations and I don't know, maybe Reed was sleeping on the job. He wasn't paying attention, right?
It
Just to see if there's going to be any breakdown. That would be pretty funny to see.
kind of like that one time Amric was like Siddle message, and he was like, "Who?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I like that as a group cohesively, we could start coming up with more stuff, right?
Mhm.
I'm just curious, like, what happens now, right? I mean, obviously, there's still more. There's a big bad. There's a ton more we can get into, right? But like, what happens now besides the obvious, right? The obvious is we go back to Chamb3r, finish up the 2 quests, that led us into the woods in the first place, right? But what do we do after that?
Well, for what, 6 sessions now, we've been saying, hey, we're going to go find the Weevil for Civil.
Exactly. I mean, who knows? We get back to Tribor, and Grizz might be like, "I'm going Neverwinter, guys. You can come with me if you want."
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting to see if those sending stones are used, right? So from the the goddess lady, right? Shanush, Shaniqua, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm waiting to see how that comes into play, because what happens if I get a little message halfway through a battle? Do I pick it up and say, "Not now, I'm busy"?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm
How would
interested
that
to see.
work? Sorry, go ahead, Key. I'll ask after.
No, I was actually going to say the same thing. I don't know how it works. I know you can only use it once per day, right? So I would assume it would take an action, but what would happen, and this is Warwick talking, what would happen if they request us to do something and I'm like, tough shit, not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You already technically healed us. What happens?
I think they'd put warrants out for us, right?
Yeah, there would be retribution of some sort that probably would not be good.
I mean, but would a church actually do that though, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
No one ever suspects the Spanish Inquisition.
well, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But anyways, all right. So where's this Weevil at? What's the idea behind
He
that?
is north of the city, or north of
Tribor.
Tribor,
But south of
just
Mirabar, it
south of
is.
Miramar. It
I
was
think
like
we have it in
three.
the quest log.
Yeah, it's like 3 days travel north, and
Take
he's
a look.
supposedly has information about Citadel. So
Xantharl's Keep. If you're looking at the
yeah,
map,
Zamperos.
he was last seen in Xantharl's Keep. Now we have to keep in mind that that was a month ago, so we're kind of on
Yeah.
this goose chase, so to speak. But it's a starting point, and I think possibly even if we can get Siddle's memory back, it could help our other wizard in the party as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I'm just never mind.
I'm
Never
just
mind.
saying it might build more of those bonds that we were just talking about. I'm
We'll get
interested to see because I feel like Warwick hasn't had much connection with individuals. Like Amrook and Warwick, okay, maybe a little bit, but I'm thinking back. You have that like feisty thing with Althea where you guys are back and forth. But
I
who
love
else have you really have those connections with so far? And I'd like to see
He's
more
had
of
some
that. Odun, I guess, but
conversations with Adrian. So
that's true,
yeah,
especially after the dream.
yeah.
I mean, I guess the way I see my character is more so like taking a step back and waiting to see how the rest of the team reacts to see if there's going to be any initiative on that side. Because so far, to this point, I've been completely fine on my own. I've been successful. I've done my own thing. So I know if for whatever reason I'm not in the party, I'll be okay. So I'm waiting to see. Yeah, I think my character wants to be cautious because this is uncharted territory, right? I don't have feelings except for when Griswold fucks up a suggestion spell, and then I get frustrated. But that's beside the point. So, yeah, I mean, I think that'll be interesting, and I don't know how I'm going to play that out. I don't know. That's yeah.
That's what I mean. That's what I cannot wait to see. Like as more connections are made, and then all of a sudden one day you're like, guys, I think I'm done. I'm gonna bounce. I'll catch you later. Good stuff. And then we're kind of like, dude, what are you talking about? And like all of a sudden, that connection, you turn around and you stick with us. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but that would be that cool arc of him being a lone wolf into a pack now.
Yeah.
See, I want to see him break away, and you guys show up after the adventure back to Trezendar Manor, and he's got his feet up, just squatting.
Squatting at that point, I'll have bought the entire place, and it'll be mine.
He's already bought and sold it.
Yeah. I still have Wave Echo Cave. I have that. You guys are off the lease or the deed or whatever. I mean, I'm only here to take everything from you. That's
I
it.
think Adrian's cool with that. Like he would just be like, all right,
Yeah,
whatever. I'm going to chill in
whatever.
the woods. I'll catch you guys
Yeah.
later.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how everything ends up playing out though. But what I would like to see a little more of is treasure hunting. So not like right now we were on a quest, right? We just happened to
Yeah.
run across treasure, right? I would like to see a little more like really side questy, like treasure hunting, a little bit of like fun
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah. Yeah.
just, you know.
I think
I get
I
that.
I agree with that to an extent. I think that, there's that overall goal and then there's these minor things and I agree treasure hunting, can be worked in there, but I think that, it might be one and one. Like if we decide to go after a dragon who happens to have our stuff, we get a whole dragon horde there. That's treasure hunt and the um, quest as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And this next one with Settle, this one with the Weevil, I don't. Like we're supposed to go to this keep. I don't know if it's one of those things where we have to clear the keep, which like a dungeon crawl sort of thing, or is it
That's
just
true. A dungeon
is
crawl
this
can
going to
be
be
its
knocking on
own
the front door? And what's that?
a dungeon crawl can be its own treasure hunt as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know. There's a lot that's going to play into it, but yeah, I
And
definitely like the idea of building the camaraderie and uh I guess I don't know. I forget how you worded it with the battle stance, however you want to word it, being a little more coordinated in battle. Yeah. This is giving me thoughts of like how I need to think of these options as well whenever I'm playing this character.
Uh,
I haven't really thought about how I'm going to react to half of this stuff. All
and
right.
and how
hmm.
do you react when somebody goes rogue? Like
Yeah, yeah.
when we make a
Like the
formation.
rogues.
Well, I was thinking Griswold with the rope situation. Like we kind of made a plan there and a formation, and we were like, all right, we're doing this, and then Griswold went rogue. And how do you react to that in character? Like
Yeah.
how does your character react?
You
So
use
I'll
the
tell you
two.
what. Can I throw something out here real quick because that
Yeah,
transitions into something that's been on my mind a lot recently that I wanted to propose to the group in this echo chamber format.
go
So
for it.
speaking during battle, I kind of laid this out early on of, hey, you got 2 words just to keep it concise, and so you guys weren't doing massive plans along the way, middle of battle, and you guys decide to huddle up. But I think I need to expand upon that a little bit. 2 words isn't enough to create a tremendous amount of interest. What do you guys
Yeah.
think about moving that up to like 4 to 6 words or something?
Yeah, I think
I like it.
that's fair. Yeah.
I
Give you
almost
guys
want
a
to
little more
say
opportunity to yell in battle.
I
Yeah.
almost want to say keep it short at lower levels, because you think about it, at lower levels, like your character's still developing their tactics. You're still, working with your axe to be able to swing it properly. So you're kind of focused. So you have shorter words. But then as we progress in levels, we become more familiar with our items as well as our actions, and so we can say more.
Right, right.
All right, so you guys want like another word per level. Got it.
Yeah, something like that. I think that's fair. If we had 3 or 4 words now, I think that should be more than enough to get, most of the points across. And you don't want to give it too many to be able to communicate, because then it's like everybody's going to take an action, a bonus action, and say a phrase. You know what I mean? And it just might be too much.
Exactly. No, I like this. At 20th level, you guys have time to write a paragraph. My dear
I was
fellow,
gonna
how are
say
you
at
over there,
20th.
sir?
I was gonna
I was
say at 20th level, we're
pondering
doing a
while I was fighting.
dissertation.
Yeah, dissertation level. I like it. It's
But
no
no, I
longer
think that makes
considered
sense.
20th
So
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we'll use this jump to bump it to 4, and then maybe every other level I'll give you another word or two. I like that rationale. And I think it's a meet in the middle.
Yeah, I do too. Another thing I recently heard about, 2 more things, and then we'll get into a stash chat and magic item of the week, was for the role playing around the campfire at night, at the tavern, whatever. I just heard about this, and I was kind of like, torn on whether you should do it or not. But some people actually roll initiative, so it's like a turn order
Oh,
for their
thank
role
you.
playing. So yeah, we would all roll our initiative, and then as your turn comes around, if you have anything to do or say, you can do it on that time.
I get that. I don't know if that might be.
I feel it's overkill for us right now, but
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah, I think
in
you guys are pretty reasonable as of right now, and I like the back and forth that you do have, and the talking over each other, and the chaos that occasionally erupts from it. But I think that's definitely something to keep in mind that I will have in the back of my head.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not saying we have to. I just heard about it and wanted to present it. But I want to talk about one more thing. So as we,
Well, after you're done, I have one question. I have
I
a
tell you
thing
what,
too.
you ask first, and then I'll go.
So, what was Amrook's reaction to Adrin and him admitting to the dreams, and then actually coming out and saying, "Hey, we saw you and Siddle. We know that you and Siddle died. Finally, what what was? I was kind of hoping Rusty was here because I'm curious on what was going on inside their heads, or if it's just kind of like one of those whatever. It was just a
Um,
dream sort of thing.
yeah, no, I think initially Amrook was brushing it off that it was just a dream, but hearing Adrin admit it kind of hit a little harder. And like he's still putting on a brave face at this point, but I think, anybody, that would have an effect, to be able to say, hey, you die in this battle. You know what I mean? And we don't know when that battle is. We
Right, right.
assume it's at the end, but time is a malleable thing, So,
Yeah,
and I think Amrook is also kind of looking internally here because he's not sure if he dies because of his character flaw, we'll call it at this point, the fact
uh,
that, he becomes overcome with this rage and just goes in. Is that
yeah,
the reason he dies? So he's kind of like what Adrian was after the dream. He puts on that brave face, refuses to let anybody know about it, but internally he's definitely thinking about these things. And is it perfectly suitable that Emmerich could just walk away now and not worry about it?
That's
yeah,
interesting.
Um, Now, do I think Emmerich would do that? No, because of, the dwarven background of being loyal to a fault, stubborn and brave. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much
yeah.
every dwarf. So he's not going to run away from the battle, but there are just some things to think about, and I think he kind of had a thought about it because that's why he gave Urgula the ring. Saying, "Hey, I might not be back, so I wanted to give
Uh-huh.
this to you now." Um, it's an acceptance, but he's still skeptical and putting on a brave face, I would say. I,
Interesting.
Cool.
I think Siddle, with his intelligence, is probably brushing it off and saying, nope, I can change the future.
Yeah. More of a skeptic, uh, skeptic of the unknowns as opposed to book smart.
Yeah, I can definitely see some RP, probably not next session, but in the future, in which Amrook asked Adrin more about the dream, to get a little bit more
Yeah.
details and try and figure things out. And I think, we'll see how it plays out. But good
Yeah.
question.
All right,
My
go ahead. You had one.
Keegs, you got anything? I don't
No,
want to
that was
skip anybody.
no. You're
You-
good. Go ahead, buddy.
All right, my question was about the end of the battle when. So it was pretty awesome actually that Griswold cast command, and then we all line up in this gauntlet that this Oni has to
uh-huh.
just trudge through us, getting wailed on. I thought it was pretty awesome way to do it, and then Griswold getting the final hit. Um, However, I could see some hindrance in some other people, like, guys, we should probably not just blast this creature. We should probably, find out some more information, and Griswold just blast it. So my question is two parts. One, a lot of that reservation was coming from Warwick. How did Warwick feel about that? And then two, I just wanted to understand more of the mechanics. Could let's say Amrook were in that situation, could I designate that I know this is going to be the final hit, but I want it to be non-lethal damage to where I knock him unconscious?
Yeah, you can do non-lethal.
Right. Do I have to say
You,
that though? Like
yeah, you
I
have to
know this
declare
is
it.
the
Yeah,
last hit, so I declare
yeah,
this is going to be
yeah, you can
non-lethal
declare.
damage, and I declare it, and then
Yeah,
he gets knocked out. He's on the ground. We can tie him up, wake him up, and then chit chat with him, and then finish him
yeah,
off. So
yeah,
we can do
I would
that.
also say that's a good time for the how do you want to do this? I want to do this with non-lethal, and basically incapacitate him or make him unconscious. So that's
yeah.
it's one of the reasons I give you the option, not only because of the Mercer style, but that last hit is critical for that reason, and so I like giving you the option.
Right. Right. And go ahead, Warwick. How is Warwick feeling about that? Because I could hear you over there. The wheels were turning. You wanted to interrogate this guy.
I mean, it's the exact same thing happened with Udo,
Groudhog.
right?
Yeah.
Or Groundhog, right? So it's I'm again, all I'm doing is you can sense a little frustration, but I'm just sitting back and just trying to understand the team, right? I mean, I'm trying to understand who's making what decisions and why to see if it makes sense to stay with the team or, go off and do my own thing, right? I mean, so far you guys seem to be a little trigger happy and emotional. So, whether it's whatever is up with Amrook and his background that leads him to be bloodthirsty. He has that. I'm sure we'll find out a little more about that. Now we're finding out a little bit about Griswold that yeah, he's definitely emotional and uh he likes to be very vengeful, right? So I don't know. I'm hoping at some point, maybe we'll find a little I don't want to say sense about us because that's not really the best thing, but maybe we'll take a step back and start interrogating because I think at the end of the day, that's the big picture, right? Trying to find out who's messing with us.
That's the idea, that we need to find out the big picture. And I
Yeah.
don't think the Onis would have given us much of the big picture, but I think,
No.
as we dive deeper in some of those quest items, yeah, that's when we need to
Yeah,
find
yeah,
out the big picture, because, some of those different pieces of knowledge are more powerful than some spells. You know what I mean? Like
right, right.
what scrying. If we can scry, if we can find out who the guy is that we're looking for, and then scry on him, that gives us more
Mhm.
knowledge. Then that's
Right.
when things like glyph of warding come in handy, because we can then cut them off, do the glyph of warding, be set
Yeah,
up and be ready.
Right.
right.
Yeah. So I think, and that's kind of how my character plays around is it's all about having some type of knowledge, right? And I can't really do anything if I don't know.
Right.
So yeah, I have to figure out how I'm going to deal with that as a character because I'm not sure. Because I think at some point in time, my character is just going to get frustrated because I think we should be interrogating, talking to people a little more often instead of just bashing people's brains in, which is exactly what Griswold did. Right. So yeah, just a thought. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I mean, I could almost see that being one of Warwick's questions to the group. Hey, if this is what you guys are going to be, I'm probably out, because, if you have an ultimate goal, this is not the way to do it, and having that conversation. I could see Warwick having that conversation. By the way, Ashley says she guesses Althea has Warwick's back. So just want to
Yes.
throw that in there. Thanks for chatting there, Ashley.
She guesses she has out. What?
She said, I mean, I guess I have Warwick's back.
Oh,
It's a
come on.
little reluctant there. She's like,
A
I
little
guess.
reluctance, but I think it's like Warwick said, it's a love-hate thing. Like,
Uh-huh.
She loves me. Let's be honest. She loves me.
but she hates to love you at the same time.
I'm okay with that though. That's okay with me. That
All right,
seems fun.
let's get on this magic item of the week. Do 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 do. Yeah. magic item of the week. So we've designated 3 items from the
You got to
party
bounce.
yet again. Oh, he's gonna bounce. I was just gonna get him. All right, Keegs, you get out of here. We'll talk about your items, and you can chit chat with us next time.
See you guys. Take
All
her
right.
easy. Have
Later,
fun.
man.
Thank you.
Later.
Thank you. I might have to adjust some screens. Yep. Give me one sec. Do 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 do. All right. Cool. So magic item of the week. We'll start with Adrin. Last week we talked about the feather staff. This week I'd like to talk about your other attuned item,
Yeah, the
Ring
what
of
is it
Cold
actually called?
Resistance.
Ring. Yeah, yeah, ring of code resistance. So what it is, gives me resistance to cold damage. Uh, which, you know, could have been helpful this last battle, but wasn't a target of the spell at all either
Yeah.
time.
So Garrett, was that on purpose, knowing that Adrin had that, or was that just based on clustering?
Purely based on clustering and position and ability to move. It was not on purpose at all. I try not to do if the monster doesn't know, which he wouldn't know, no reason to focus on that. I try to determine what he knows, what he doesn't know about your strategies, and base it off of that,
That's true.
and how
That's a
much
good
they
way to
actually
look at
think
it.
about that sort of thing.
Yeah, like a more intelligent character might think a little bit more about it, might notice something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the hill giants, they just attacked. They did dumb stuff on purpose. There were times that I could have trapped you guys and I didn't. But yeah, these ones thought a little bit more. They were more strategic, but certainly wouldn't know that he had that random ring in his pocket
Right, for sure,
or what
for
the
sure.
magic was. So
Yeah.
try
That
to
makes
take that into
sense.
account.
For sure, that makes sense. Since Warwick's not here, we'll go ahead and we'll jump to Amrook's items, and then that way we can possibly incorporate Warwick's items next week. So we'll jump to last week we did Boots of Striding for Amrook. This week we'll talk about Stormbreaker, and we'll talk about what's my third one?
Giant Slayer.
Giant Slayer. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. Yeah, so Stormbreaker was the axe created within Wave Echo Cave for us. It was dropped into the flames. I don't even know what those flames would be called. Do you have a name for those? We're gonna call them magical
Flame,
flames.
flames of
I did at the time, and I don't remember now.
The flames of eternal magic. That's what I'm calling them. That's what they shall be known as. The hand axe was dipped into the flames of eternal magic, and it came out with magical properties of being able to return to the thrower. So as Amrook throws it, it strikes, doesn't matter, because after it strikes or doesn't strike, it comes back to Amrook's hand. It is literally like Milnir, and I love it. It is the best ranged weapon for a small dwarf who can now jump long distances.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Um, and
Yeah.
I cannot wait until now after this level that I get to use some different maneuvers.
Mhm.
Along with that, I think that is going to come in, the boots plus the maneuver plus the range attack. I think it's going to come in handy,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Emmerich third item is the Giant Slayer. The Giant Slayer grants additional damage to giant-sized monsters like giants, onis. What's the one with 2 heads?
Not Ettins.
Ettins.
Not giant sized, giant type.
Giant type. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
And it's an additional 2d6 damage upon strike, as well as the giant type creature has to make a strength saving throw. I want to say it's 14.
Sure. 14. Yeah, I think that
I think
sounds about right.
14 or
Yeah.
15. I can't remember. And upon failure, falls prone. Nothing happens upon save. So
Yeah.
definitely helps. Definitely going to be crucial in some of these giant battles. I cannot wait to get back against some giants, because even though we were facing the Onis, because of their invisibility, I felt a little
A
um,
little handcuffed.
A little handcuffed. Yeah, exactly. At
Yeah.
first. Now I do want to say that, after we got them to a point where the one couldn't be invisible, I I jumped up on the guy's back, Legolas style. I think of
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember the second Hobbit movie, whenever the
Yeah.
dwarves are going in the barrels and Legolas is like bouncing on
Yeah.
their heads. That's
Bouncing
kind of
on
what
the
I
head.
envision
Yeah.
Amrook. He just jumps up, he's on this guy's shoulders, and then takes the axe and swings down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it
Yep.
was definitely cool to be able to have those boots and jump up like that. And then I wanted to ask Garrett, if you're still there, did you expect Amrook to use the boots that way and then be able to use Action Surge to have the action to then try and knock him down?
Uh, no, but I try not to think too far in advance and let you guys be creative about it. So I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't really anticipate how you guys are going to use some of these things. I appreciate it if you the credit you give me in some cases, but most of the time it's like, here you go, have fun with it.
I just wasn't sure because he was 30 feet off the ground, and that's just in Amrook's ability, and it was kind of like, that's pretty cool. And then the fact that
I thought it was
with
awesome.
with the Giant
Love that you did
Slayer,
it.
if they would have failed their strength saving throw, now they drop 30 feet and take 3d6 damage, right, on top of the additional damage, which I think is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Now, I did have a question about that. So I didn't worry about it in game. Would Amrook have taken the full damage having fallen on the Oni? Now, you did give me the dex saving throw to try and catch myself so that I didn't fall prone, but I was just curious because when I was thinking back about it, Griswold fell on top of Amrook, and Griswold took half the damage, Amrook took half the damage. So how do you calculate that as a DM? I mean, obviously situational, but just curious.
Yeah, and I did think about it at the time, and I was gonna reduce that, but leave you prone. I rolled, momentarily forgot, and gave you the full damage, and then compensated by
Not making
removing
prone.
removing the prone.
Yeah, I
So that
think
was that was a DM fluffer, we'll say,
I
where I
wouldn't
made a
say that
little
at
bit of a
all.
mistake there.
So I could be convinced either way. I could be convinced
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
both creatures would take full damage because they both
Right.
fell, and in fact the one on the bottom might take additional damage,
Right.
uh,
Right. Right.
being fallen on.
Yeah,
So
and I would say that. I did think it was more likely you would take less damage than return prone. I mean, if you're taking full damage, chances are you don't have the astuteness to get back up in a real life situation. If you were astute enough to land properly and not take full damage, then
Mm.
you could actually then you're most likely able to get prone quickly, sort of thing. So maybe I'm overthinking this completely. It was a fall and some damage, but that was my approach in the moment.
well, now Adrin will not take that damage, right? From
That'll be a while. That'll be a while.
soon. Adrin will not take that damage.
That'll
What
be a
for?
while.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
think
that's
it's
right. With the monk.
I think
Yeah.
this low fall is fourth or fifth level or something like that. And honestly, I don't know if I'll go that high. And no, I might go that high just to get the extra attack. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, so with multi-classing, there's like different ways to go about it. You can do like a 50-50. You can have your main class and just a couple levels in the off class. So there's
Yeah,
options, I feel.
we'll see how this play. I don't. I'm honestly I have a plan right now of maybe third fourth level, but we'll see how it plays out. You know, if I start to think, hey, you know what, I might get some more benefit level and some druid levels here. I might do that. Well, so we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's for sure, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, I think I talked to Garrett about it. I'm not necessarily trying to min max character. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
based on the storyline, based on the development of
yeah.
things, that type of stuff. Because I'm obviously, if I were trying to min max, I would definitely do the barbarian fighter, and just go that route, or just straight fighter would be pretty good. But we'll see. We need a cleric in the party. That's all I can say. With that, I think it's time for Stats Chat! Stats Chat, Stats Chat, Stats Chat, Stats Chat! I think that's the theme song. Let's go ahead and throw up the Stats Chat map. So, last week we did not we had damage, but we did not have kills other than
Right,
being
right.
attacked by. This week we do have kills. We have Reed's first kill, which he wasn't even there for. I just want to say, Ryan,
Right.
I got a kill with Reed. And when's the last
There
time
you
you
go.
got to see a kill? I think the Fire Giant was his last kill. I could be wrong. Either way. And then Griswold got the final blow on the Oni that we discussed earlier. I did notice this one in the top right. So I was thinking about it, and I wanted to see who does piercing damage. And I just
Oh, just about everybody does.
Amrook doesn't. I know that much.
Adrin, I think Adrin
Adrin
and
is
Amber,
bludgeoning, right?
yeah. But arrows, uh, the rapier, Morningstar,
Yeah, there was a rapier
short sword,
attack this time.
yeah,
That was from
short sword,
Althea, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember if it was Althea or O'Doon, but yeah, Griswold's Morningstar Ticklecorn
is
definitely has blood or piercing damage, and
yeah.
I almost feel like it would be a mix between the bludgeoning and piercing, but either way, I was
I
just
think I think second edition it was both. It was both a bludgeoning and piercing damage. I can't remember what it was in third. I think third was the same way. It was bludgeoning and considered bludgeoning and piercing. But I guess they simplified it. Makes sense.
yeah. Which leads us to this damage chart, one of Eric's favorite, the tree map there, and we can still see Fireball, two fireballs missing this time. And Fireball is still the most amount of damage so far since we
Yeah, it
started
is.
tracking. That's
Yeah, it
pretty
is.
crazy to me.
Yeah,
And yeah, this is. I just want to make sure that we were just on Storm King's Thunder, because if we were actually on Tales of the Yawning Portal, I think yeah, it gets even bigger. It gets even harder to tell.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just spells and ability. It's not
Oh, for sure,
like
for
pure
sure.
damage. Just like punching, stabbing, and stuff. That's more spells and special abilities.
Right, yeah. And
But
if we come up
but
here on the left, we get to see, damage per character. And Siddle actually is the number one still. I thought Emmerich was giving him a run for this money, but he was able to pull out some extra damage this time and stay ahead. Reed's close back.
yeah,
Sneak attack is very underrated. Having
yeah, it
played
is.
Reed now, it is pretty insane the amount of damage that sneak attack
So
does.
you were talking about what character classes that you would maybe you could min max on. I was thinking rogue for you
I
for ammo.
definitely have thought about it. I think it
Yeah,
would be fun. I think it would be more fun if I was not playing a melee fighter.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if I was playing the ranged fighter, I would definitely do it. I guarantee I would.
Although melee rogue fighters are fun too. Usually it's dual weapon, like
Right.
a kind of a swashbuckler sort of deal.
Or like, yeah, some
Rapier,
sort of finesse weapons with daggers or
yeah,
something like that.
rapier dagger sort of combo. Uh, but yeah, Amrook as a rogue is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, I definitely see this well-armored dwarf not being a
Yeah,
rogue.
not being a
Yeah, for sure. But I definitely thought about it. If I were ranged, it would happen. Guarantee, because I have way too much fun uh, playing that sneakiness. Like, I had a lot
Mhm.
of fun playing Reed this time. I'm a little
Yeah,
jealous of Ryan right now.
yeah, yeah.
I had a lot of fun, like, trying to think of, because it's a little bit more manipulative, we'll say, with the character, because you're like, dashing over here, you're using your bonus action to either dash or hide, and then you're, popping out, or do I take the shot first and then because I
Yeah,
was already hidden last time, or you know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
it's a few moves, but it's the
Mhm.
order in which you do them that you can manipulate to maximize the amount of damage you're doing.
Right, right.
or do I bonus action hide, and then if that fails, do I hold my action for somebody else to be in combat so I still get sneak attack, and like so it's
Right.
just it is definitely fun, and I think Althea will have some fun with it, especially now that she has those gloves, so she can steal stuff as well. I could see her and Reed teaming up. That's all I'm saying. I would, if we go into
You
a
know,
store, keep our eyes on those two.
well, you know, uh, Warwick likes to try to skim off the top. What if Althea is skimming that off of him?
Oh,
I
that'll be
mean,
funny. And then Reed's trying to skim off of both of them.
yeah.
For sure, for sure. But I had a lot of fun playing Reed this week. Griswold, and I know you feel like you don't do too much, but I think that command,
And the
along
team
with
units too.
your average damage with Pumpernickel, you're up there, my friend.
And you know what? The other thing was is 30 point. I still go back to that. 30 points of healing
Yep.
is pretty
Pl-
big.
Plus
Yeah,
bless. I
yeah,
mean, for me, like I know I talked about it, and then we used it for a bit, and now we're getting off of it because we have other stuff.
yeah,
But for me, bless is still up there. I had just
yeah,
talked to Warwick about Bane, and talked about his character with Bane because he has it,
mhm,
but he hasn't used it. So I explained to him how it worked, and I could definitely see,
yeah,
Warwick's all about adjusting the enemy's luck and adjusting our luck, and Bane
yeah, yeah.
does just that. That you can cast it, and now they have to reduce their attacks and saving throws by potentially 4 each time as long as
Right,
it
right,
lasts. Now I do think Bless is
right.
a little bit
Yeah, I
above that
mean
because you
that's
cast it on 3, but still,
combo. I mean to have a plus and have an enemy bane. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Like if Griswold could Bless along
yeah,
with a Bane on the big bad, you know what I mean? That
yeah,
would that would be
yeah,
pretty lethal combo.
yeah,
And I would feel remiss if we didn't talk about Adrid's damage. He's trying out produce flame quite a bit, but he's still working on that flaming sphere. I like it coming out. Uh, I think he casted frostbite this time.
I was with my ranged is either produce flame or the frostbite. I did the frostbite on the one time because it's a further range. It's a 60-foot range, or yeah, 60-foot range as opposed to 30 foot. So that's why I went with the frostbite.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but this last time, man, oh, that was terrible rolling for Adrian. I got one hit in, and that was it. I think.
I feel like you got more than that. Hold on.
No, this last past week, I had one hit.
Really?
One hit. Yeah, yeah. It sucked.
Okay, so that was a spell 0. Oh man, you are right. Holy cow.
Yeah, and it really killed my hit percentage too.
Yeah,
Like
we're
I
we're
was like clipping along. I
we're
was like
going.
clipping along at like a 70% hit percent or something like that. Now I'm down like 59. I'm like,
I,
damn it.
I think I jinxed you with that because we had just talked about it last week.
Yeah,
That like
yeah,
you had like a 78% hit rate, and like I was
yeah,
like, looking at your damage per hit along with that, and because your damage
yeah,
per hit was also what 15 or something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Something
so
like that.
this week definitely hurt you a little bit
Killed me.
on those stats, but I mean, you can make that up easy. It's all luck of the dice, and
Yeah, yeah,
you're still top in our healing stats. All right, second because Griswold, has one thing that he can cast. I feel like you're still top though because of healing spirit. I have to see now.
yeah. The healing spirit's huge.
Yeah,
It's big. It's big.
yeah, yep.
Um, the healing. You know what? I am kicking around the thought of, typically when my prepared spells are healing word, cure wounds, detect magic, um, and then I go between a couple different ones from my first levels. I'm really thinking about dropping cure wounds.
I would agree. Now that we have a couple other people who can do healing, cure wounds wouldn't be too
Yeah,
bad to drop.
I mean, it's nice because it's the D8 versus a D4, but man, healing word, bonus action, cast it at range. Uh, I'm thinking I might drop it just so I can pick up one or two other spells that I think would be more beneficial for Adrin as opposed to
The party.
yeah. Yeah.
I think it's especially in going monk. I could definitely see
Yeah.
a step back from being the party's main healer to a little bit more
Yeah.
of the upfront damage. So I would
Yeah, no,
Yes,
definitely.
yes, less healing, less healing. I agree.
You just wait, my friend. I mean, eventually, give us a couple more levels, and you're going to be able to throw some pretty crazy stuff at us because of the multi-classing. I feel like the Keegan started it with the multi-classing. Now we're seeing Adrin multi-classing, and when he can start dodging your abilities just as well as Griswold's, AC, like it's it is going to be tough. I mean, how do you, as a DM, knowing what everybody has, like I can only imagine like building it like if I'm DM, I'm building it against you fuckers. Like I know what you all have. I'm building this map to take you down. But what do you guys do?
I'll let Eric go first, since he has the larger amount of experience here.
I mean, I don't really build encounters. Maybe on occasion just to give to give a little difficulty, but I don't normally build encounters based on the player's abilities. It's to me it's story based, and um, yeah, if it doesn't make sense, like okay, if instead of these Onis we're fighting, I don't know, something crazy like Beholder, because that's something that they really wouldn't do. Um, it wouldn't make as much sense to me, I guess. Now, if you're going through a dungeon somewhere and you come across a Beholder, okay, that might make a little bit more sense. Uh, yeah, so I don't know. I like I said, I don't really build encounters based off of PC abilities. Now, like I said, with that said, sometimes I'll be like, if I'm looking for like a CR 5 to throw at you guys, and I'll be like, ooh, this could be interesting because the party heavily relies on there's no strength characters or something like that. Kind of like in the other campaign, you don't really have uh, a character where their main ability is strength. So I might throw something that does more grapple or
Yeah.
restrains or something. You know,
Hmm.
but that's like I said, I don't build towards PCs. I build towards story.
Makes sense. What about you, G?
Yeah.
I think Eric hit the nail on the head here. And maybe I think this is one of the criticisms I have for myself is I try to make them too realistic sometimes, that I base it on which creatures are available for the story. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. Clearly, this is unrealistic. Why would they see a beholder here? Meanwhile,
Yeah.
I'm designing a fantasy world in which everyone has magic items, and yet I worry about realism. But
Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but that's my first go-to. Is okay, what realistically I need some CR 5 to 7 characters here. What CR7 characters are realistic? And that kind of brings me in the ballpark of, okay,
Yeah.
here's 5 options. And then I base it off of one, what have you guys, do I think you've not seen or would be really cool or have some cool
Mm.
features? I like that awe factor, that, oh
Yeah.
crap,
Yeah.
he went invisible, or oh crap, he can fly too, sort of thing. Not just these giants that hit hard. I want to keep you guys on your toes, give you something that somebody you haven't seen before, keep them new, keep them fresh. Come at you with psychic, come at you with
Yeah. Yeah.
some piercing, invisible, come at you from different ways, and then the other thing that I try to take into account is I'm trying to go a little bit larger CR, less people to battle, just because we have such a large group to keep it going faster. So that makes it tough too. Or else I could really
Yeah.
wear you
Yeah.
down with some low level stuff and more minions. So I'm trying to offset it that way. These are the kind of things I'm thinking about when I design the encounter. But story base wise, Storm King's Thunder gave me a decent amount to begin with. and then I'm trying to mix it up with some others as well along the way, or round out each battle with some other unique characters that I think would complement the battle well, or complement your fighting style well.
It's a good way to look at it, both sides. I think that if you want to kill a party, you throw a bunch of creatures at them. And you don't even have to dictate
Yeah.
towards like their stats. Like you just throw
Right.
stuff at them, and eventually it just wears them down. So that's good balance. I feel you both have. So I like it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I do want to point out some stats here for the defensive side. So that's more of like the frontliners, but I would like to look at trying to think, where is he? Where is he? Warwick. He got hit by 2 cone of colds, right?
Yeah. You know
And
what? For only being in the party for a short amount of time, he's now a leaderboard in times knocked down sort of thing. Times gone unconscious.
for sure, I think we have that in the killed creatures, right? Yeah, in the killed
Yeah.
creatures for the fall. We'll look at that in a sec. But I just wanted to point out Cone of Cold. So just this fight, you cast Cone of Cold twice, G, and you did 86 points of damage to Warwick alone. If we were to add up the amount of damage you also did to Siddle, to Althea, to everybody except for Amrook and Adrin, I
Yeah.
mean, it's got to be up there. It's got to be like fireball level in just those 2 spells alone. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. So I'll give you props for that one.
Oh yeah, those were brutal spells.
Yeah.
The Oni was
Yeah.
definitely a good choice. I liked it. I had fun with it, even though the handcuffed at first. I think it was really cool to have that interaction of the invisibility and watch everybody's like reaction and watch the fumblings as well as the victories. We'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm looking at yeah.
Oh,
So
absolutely, yeah.
62 to Griswold with
And the
Cone of Cold.
regeneration, you know.
Yeah. The regen. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, yeah, between the regen, the flying, and the invisibility, I'd love to see the creativity that you guys came up with to react against it. I mean,
Yeah.
you jumping on him was huge. The fairy fire usage, where it actually came in significant handy. What was the cold spell that prevented regen?
Oh,
Chilling
chill
touch.
touch.
Chill touch.
That
That's
was
what it
chill
is.
touch was huge.
Chill
That
touch.
was really
Yeah,
big. Yeah.
but it's all these, those are 3 things that you would have, under normal circumstances, never do. And be like, yeah, why do I ever need fairy fire? It's almost a waste of a spell slot. How often we run
It's
across invisible creatures? Now it's like, ooh, maybe.
it's so funny because that was in my repertoire for the longest time, and I'm like, oh man, I want to use it, but I haven't had a chance to because it's a concentration spell, and I either have like healing spirit up or something else up. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put this in. I'm gonna put this somewhere else, and I was like, damn it! I wish I had fairy fire. And then I think Warwick was going to cast it first, and I was kind of like, and he was like, oh, but I'll catch the other guys. I'm like, cast it anyway. Just cast it.
I
And
was real excited about that too.
you're
Yeah,
real excited he didn't. We had a talk
He
about it,
didn't, yeah. I was like, don't do it, don't do it.
and so the idea of being that communication and being focused for the party, it would have negated the fact that he lit us up as well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
If we're playing that everybody can get to this guy, I'm going to cast Fairy Fire. Let's get this guy. Then it
yeah.
doesn't matter that it hit Adrin and Amrook because we're all focused. And then that Oni's wiped
Right.
out. We can then focus on the other one. So
Yeah, yeah,
I
Oh,
think
absolutely.
I
yeah,
think that's a good point to go along with what we talked about earlier.
yeah,
And I do want to use a little bit of I was gonna say, let me leave a little bit of a callback here of how I design encounters. That's another point that I like throwing different things and different monsters, not only for the wow factor and keep you guys on your toes, but I liked it for the spellcasters. It makes you think a little bit about what you're queuing up. Of oh
yeah.
shoot, this is a little bit more worthwhile than I thought, or maybe a utility spell is a little bit more helpful than I thought.
I
Uh,
always
should I
try to
just
keep.
slug or
Yeah, I try not to
yeah?
put all my eggs in one basket.
he actually almost
And
didn't
you
take Fairy
balance it out
Fire.
really well as Eric.
What's
So
that?
Oh, really?
he almost didn't take Fairy Fire. So, G, you gave him that opportunity to rework some of his spells after playing the character for a little bit, and he stopped. And he had a conversation right
Yep.
before um, my one shot with the Death Giants, and he was like, "I'm never gonna use this.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
even know." And he
Oh
was
no,
literally gonna trade Fairy Fire in for something else. And I explained to him what it
Oh
did,
man.
and like I'm sure at this point he's glad he took it, but he almost traded it in for something else, some other damage spell. I forget what he was even going to take.
I mean that's the other thing too. Is it not even just for the invisibility aspect? That's just like part B of the thing. The whole gives advantage
For
on
sure, especially
all
when you got
attacks
an
is
upfront
huge.
fighter and Griswold
Yeah.
and now Adrin at Monk with advantage. Like, what's
Yeah.
Adrin's plus to hit with the staff now? With it's like a +8 or
So
something.
it's still +8.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, that's
+8,
huge.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
give him advantage, and he's hitting pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But no, now the question. Well, I don't know. I just love that you guys have to. I mean, Eric, you can see the difference between what Eric has and say what Rusty had early on and how fairy
Yeah.
concentrated he was, no utility spells, and that's Eric's
Yeah.
experience versus the newer D&D players. And now you're realizing how invaluable some of these spells are. And I mean, I'll admit it only
Yeah.
because I learned that lesson only from playing Mordai. It's like, holy crap! The first time I went through, I'm like, oh man, sorcerers don't
Right.
have crap for hitting power. These spells are crap. And now I'm like, ooh, that would be useful. That would be
Yeah.
useful. That would be useful. So it makes you think more
Mhm.
creatively about these spells and use more of the
Right.
playbook besides fireball, fireball, fireball.
wait,
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
Mordai was a fighter. As much as he used his quarterstaff, I thought he
Yeah,
was a
I
fighter.
know. It's easy to think he might be a monk or a fighter. He wants you to think that, throws you off. He's tricky like that.
um, so I'm not sure who this NPC is. I I
Oh,
I assume that's the red dragon took all of the yeah, the
the
creatures down,
summon.
right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
if we
That's the
take that out because they're not part of the party, Warwick actually has the most times have gone down.
yeah. Yeah.
He,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
he
really?
yeah, he's gone down. He went down twice this time, and then twice against the
Two of
Death
the
Giants.
Death Giants. Yeah.
So he's gone down 4 times now within the past 2 months.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love it. Frank is
Frank
second in
is up there
line.
with.
I think I was talking about this last time that Frank,
Yeah.
oh, he's only gone
Uh,
down once. Apparently he's second.
he goes time. Yeah.
And then a bunch of us at 2, and some of our backliners at 1. So that's a pretty
Yeah.
cool stat. I also like this chart up here. We haven't looked it up too much. I know that's my favorite type of chart, the donut chart. You know me. Um, but I like the percentage of kills that we have here. So you can see per character
Mm-hmm.
who has the high percentage of kills. And of course, it's Reed, followed by Siddle, and I would assume Adrin would be, or Emmerich
Yep.
would be next. Yep. So yeah, it falls in line of damage there pretty
Yeah.
well. Other than Reed gets a couple more kill shots than
Yep.
he does damage wise. So interesting, very interesting. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably due to that
Yeah.
sneak attack. I would assume. Yeah.
Yeah, when he hits, he puts up
Yeah.
some damage under sneak attack.
For
Yeah.
sure. I think back to, and we'll wrap it up here soon, but I think back to, our first cave entrance there with the first time we ever saw a bugbear, and like how overwhelmed we felt against one bugbear that just wouldn't go down at our level 1 abilities. And now I
Uh,
look at, like, we're taking on these Onis and, Grudhog and stuff, and I'm looking at the damage charts and I'm like, it's crazy to see, what a year and a half does.
yeah.
I cannot wait for another year and a half when we're all level 15 to see what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
Garrett, make
That's
it
gonna be
happen.
nuts, and I'm not looking forward to it.
I, you know
It's
what?
harder on my side. Hey, here's one bugbear. Go to town, and that was easy. Now it's like, all right, here's
Yeah.
3 Onis that have invisibility. Here's some legendary feats. Here's a warm up round. Here's so much tougher.
Yeah, I definitely like that you threw that warm-up round in there. I like that Adrian called you out on it. It was like, no, I'm not taking this. Move
No,
it
we're not
along.
done this.
We're going.
You guys out of here.
Yeah.
Well, the other hand, like I mean, you brought it up, and this is what I was getting ready to say earlier, and I got pulled away. Is that yeah, it didn't work out on this time, but for a few of the newer characters, hopefully it makes you think, oh crap, maybe I should watch my spell utilization a little bit, because you
Well,
guys were
Yeah.
getting low down there at the end. If anything else came beyond that Oni, you guys were in some
Mhm.
trouble.
We
Yeah.
did talk about that while you were gone. So, that's we talked about someone going full Nova and then someone else realizing, hey, Griswold just spent all his shit. Maybe I should hold some stuff back. That type
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
stuff for back-to-back fights. And then we also do have some people who just gained arcane recovery, as well as, we haven't really touched on the hit dice yet. So with a short rest in between battles, I could see some sessions with consecutive battles. I could see it coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have not had to use hit dice or short rest many times at all yet, and you've had opportunities for long rests. So it'll be interesting as you use that more.
Yeah,
Now that it's we'll say it's going to be required.
I like it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like it. Good stuff. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you maybe Sunday, I think, somewhere around there. Thanks.